Hey everyone, welcome back to another Inner Sleuths live stream. We are picking up with another episode of PaxCast. This is episode 14, season 1 of PaxCast. We are on the heels of the autumn update, I feel, and I'm really excited to talk about a lot of the stuff that we have in here today. Some of it will be rehashing some of the information that we already know. This last post from Mainframe is kind of a hurry up and wait, but they did put some good nuggets in there. So we're going to make sure we look into those. Before we get started here today, huge shout out to all of my channel members. You guys are the greatest. Thank you so much for all of the support. It is really, really appreciated. You guys are helping the channel to grow super, super fast. We are flying towards 1,000 subscribers. We are blazed past 700, well on our way up to 1,000. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a 24-hour subathon. Ryan says, I refuse to tune in until Void has eaten brisket. That would be every single time then if I possibly could. Pete, we got a bunch of people in chat. We got Pete, Darth, EOTV, Ryan. Great to see you guys. I hope you're all having a great day today. Hope you guys are ready to talk about some more PAX Day news. It's not a ton of news, but it is news nonetheless. They put out a post a little bit ago, and that's what we're going to be going over. If you guys want to follow along, you can head over to the official Mainframe PAX Day Discord, and it is in their announcements room of what we're going to be going over. It's interesting. They put some things on the website, they put some things in the launcher, they put some things on the Discord. Some don't. I wish they make it over to the website because then I could have a visual for you guys on screen. I'm not really going to show a Discord page on here. It's just a little strange. I like it when it's on their website. It's nice and clean. These are, a little more curated, a little more professional style streams. But back to our subscriber goal. Once we reach 1,000, we're going to be doing a 24-hour subathon where several hours will be put on the clock, and you guys can extend that clock further and further into the future, closer and closer towards that 24-hour mark by doing things like interacting with Tangia, which you can see is currently paused in the bottom left corner, doing channel membership gifting and all sorts of stuff like that. I don't know if I can make it 24 hours. I don't know if you guys can make it 24 hours, but we're going to do our best and see what comes out of it. But thank you to all of my new subscribers. We have a bunch of new people stopping by the channel all the time, so I really appreciate all the support. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have quite a bit to go over. If you guys would like to chat with us behind the scenes, if you would like to be a part of our community, you can head over to our Discord, type !Discord in chat. You'll get a link over to join the Cheeky Buggers United community Discord server. It's a great place filled with some really awesome people. Pete says you shouldn't really try to do a 24-hour stream. We did a vote and tons of people said they wanted to see it, so we're gonna give it our best. I'm probably just gonna sleep the whole day before, and then just let it happen. Just see what happens. I can't. There's no guarantees. I'm not going into it saying like I for sure will make a 24-hour stream. Like that's not the case. And I don't even know if we'll get enough tips and donations and tangias to even extend it that far. Who knows? Because only several hours are gonna be put on. I put on the event, and if people want to see it, they'll show up and they'll make it happen. But we'll see what's gonna happen. But nevertheless, it's going to be fun. I think it'll be fun. A little fun event. I'm sure we'll have multiple different people who come and go throughout the event. But yeah, if you guys want to join our community, Discord in chat. If you want to join us in game, PAX Day is our main game. We play a lot of World of Warcraft. We're going to be doing some more Star Citizen coming up. A lot of good patches coming out over there. On our community, we can host private servers for things. So once Project Zomboid drops their update, I'll be hosting a private server for that. Vintage Story has been blazing along with some good content. I'm going to be hosting a private server for that eventually. We can do Minecraft. We can do anything. We have the facilities. We have the tools in place to facilitate hosting any form of private server that we could ever want as long as there's demand for it within the community. I've been enjoying Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. It's been a really, really great game. If you guys would like to check that out, make sure you go check my other streams on there. But if you'd like to join us in-game or in any of our private servers, head over to our website, website, in chat. You'll get a link over to join. Over on our website, you will see, it's also www.cheekybugger.net, but you'll see an application process over there. It's pretty easy. You just copy the template, start a new discussion, fill out the questions, and then if it's marked pending, you have to check back. If your application's marked pending, you'll then reach out to an admin or myself over on the Discord, and we'll get you vetted and we'll get you properly into the into the game, into all the different clans. One application gets you access to everything. You get into our clan on PAX Day, into our guild in World of Warcraft, our organization in Star Citizen, all of our private servers, one application. But you do not need to sign up for anything. You're more than welcome to. Everyone's more than welcome to come over there and hang out with us. If you're an allied clan member, if you are a community member in an area and you like RPing with us, we do a bunch of RP in game. Whatever it may be, you guys are welcome to join the Discord. But if you'd like to join us in game and actually become one of the Order of the Blood Brothers, then you can easily do that over on our website. All those checks are in place just to make sure that everyone's having a good time and we don't get any bad actors or trolls or spies or anything like that who are trying to ruin people's gameplay. It's just to make sure that people who are coming in are genuine. That being said, let's get into some of this information here. So this is their update that they just put out yesterday. I was going to cover it yesterday, but we had already done our Space Marine stream, so I waited till today. It's an early access update, and they start off by saying, "Hello, Paxians. It's back to school time for most of the real world, and our teams are more pumped than ever to add content to the game." I'm glad that they're pumped to add content to the game, because we're all pumped to get content added to the game. I'm going to go ahead and unpause Tangia now while we get started here. If you guys would like to interact with Tangia, it directly supports the channel. You can do funny memes on screen. In a podcast, I don't know what kind of funny things you can do, but if something funny happens in dialogue, you can go ahead and pump those through. Anything that is queued up, we'll go ahead and play through now. Those are normally more for like when I'm streaming, if I die or something funny happens or whatever. People do little funny things up there on screen. EOTB says energy drinks and spicy hot wings fuel. No, I don't mess with that stuff, man. Hot wings, maybe. Energy drinks, no. I can't even do caffeine. Stuff messes me up, man. So they go on to then say, in caps, in bold, patch when. They got a lot of flack for that last update that they put out, talking about the new emotes and stuff that are coming to their Discord. A lot of people thought it was in bad taste, simply because we're all waiting for content in the game, and then they come out and talk about just the stupidest little thing on their Discord. So some people took offense to that. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I know they're working on content for it. I know it's going to come when it comes. There's nothing we could do about that. We could be butthurt all we want. The same thing happens with Star Citizen. The same thing happens with like Project Zomboid. Is huge gap between their content. So these things just happen. Development happens when development happens. And you know, if they want to be as transparent or as vague as they want about things, that's up to them. We can have our opinions on that though. And that's what everyone has been making their opinions known, which is great. We need to make sure that Mainframe knows what we're expecting of them, because they have our support for the game, right? It should never be just a one-way thing. We're letting them know certain things that are a problem with the game that people want fixed, but ultimately it's their brainchild, it's their project, it's their game. We chose to come down this road with them, and I kind of knew early on that the patches were going to be these small little hot fixes and stuff, and then sparsely spread out big updates. You could kind of just read the writing on the wall there, but nevertheless, they say patch when. They got a lot of flack for that last update they put out. And they haven't really told us for sure what's coming in this patch. Now, here's the thing. I agree that they don't have to, I mean, first of all, they don't have to tell us anything. We could just get a patch when we get a patch, and that's that. So I think them telling us anything is a good thing. Yas says people are impatient. That is 100% is the problem, but we're very early on to this. Like people in Star Citizen, they have an expectation and there's a precedent set of when to expect X, Y, and Z. Some things get bumped, people get butthurt, but there's like a precedent set. Project Zomboid, we kind of have the history track of when they've pumped their updates out and stuff. Same with Minecraft, every other game. Like we kind of know what to expect when it comes to like World of Warcraft updates and stuff. It's kind of like a set thing. It's just this known fact kind of. Sometimes it gets pushed out a little, sometimes it moves in a little. But we know mostly what's coming in those updates for those games, right? They talk about these are the features we're working on adding for this update. These are the things that we are trying to get implemented. Mainframe really haven't done that yet. And I unpack things as I read them. So as we go down through this, I'll be pausing, talking about the topic at hand. I don't read the whole thing and then touch on points. I like to unpack stuff as we go through it. Pete says, okay, wrought iron spike has no use. Yeah, does it not? That sounds about right. I think there are some things that don't have a use currently. But they go on to say, well, here's the issue. So they don't really tell us what's going to be in it. They're telling us what they're working on. That doesn't mean that all those things are going to make it into these patches. And I think some people are getting the misconception that just because they say that they're currently working on those things, And it could be a language barrier. I don't think maybe for some of them English is not their first language. I don't know. But people are starting to think that because they're talking about the things that they're working on, it means that it's going to be coming. And that's definitely not the case with Star Citizen. They tell you about all kinds of stuff they're working on. That doesn't mean it's coming in the next patch. That's why they have the roadmap and the release schedules and stuff the way that they do. But from Mainframe, I think they've fallen into this trap where they're not telling us exactly what to expect from the next update. Like even the topics. They tell us the topics they're working on, at least thus far. But we don't know exactly which ones of those they're trying to make it into this patch. For instance, they talked about, let me scroll up a second here and see all the different topics that they touched on. They touched on combat, PvP, social features, crafting, building, marketplaces, solo PvE content, Unreal Engine updates, plot, permission updates, compass, and localization, among a couple other things. Those are the things that they told us that they're currently working on. That doesn't mean that all of those are necessarily going to be added in the very next update. And I think they talk a little bit about that down below. But they say our next content update will be released in the autumn. That's a big window, right? Could happen on the 21st, could happen like all the way up till winter. We don't really know. It's kind of vague, but nevertheless, at least we have a season when the update's going to be coming out. Not really sure that helps us though, because it's like saying it's coming this winter, coming quarter 1, like quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Those would be good to know because then you get like, you get a bigger picture of what's going on. But so autumn's a little bit vague, but I understand they're trying to get as much stuff in as they possibly can. I'm sure of it. They want to release a nice big update. I think this next update is going to be, and you guys let me know what you think in chat, but I think this next update is going to be very big for the game, no matter what happens. It's going to go one of two ways. Either the update comes out and it flops and people were disappointed or had their expectations too high and they quit and they'll come back for the next one, which means like 6 months of no players or something like that. I mean, the numbers for PAX Day have fallen a lot. I will always tell you guys the truth. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you. I'm not going to lie or try to cover anything up or anything like that whatsoever. The numbers for PAX Day have really fallen off a cliff. Our clan has been staying active by doing RP and just doing stuff together with our allies, going out and having fun, experimenting, and finding out all the little nuances of whatever it may be. Let me pull up the Steam numbers here and let's see. Are there no Steam numbers here? Hold on. PAX Day. So yeah, it's kind of fallen off a cliff. It's down to like 1,000. There's only 1,000 people in game right now. And this is on Steam, so there's probably a little bit more over the launcher and stuff. But the numbers used to be much, much higher really not that long ago. But their peaks are definitely falling off. And it's understandable. People want that content. People want more stuff to do. Not everyone's going to be an RPer or want to create their own content. We're having a lot of fun on the US East Dano RP server because we make up a lot of our own content. We have a bunch of different stories going on. We have people coming into town all the time with their own little side quests and missions and stuff. We have our bounty board where we can do quests for people. So it's a lot of fun to keep engaged. Our community is staying engaged because of that fun. We are fleshing out our own religion system over on our wiki page. You can go to wiki.cheekybugger.net to take a look at some of that stuff that we've been working on over there. And we'll probably do another podcast coming up soon, just simply talking about RP and about lore and stuff like that. And I can pull up on screen our visuals for our religion system and stuff like that. Ryan says, Autumn as a target is way better than the pre-early access before too long. Yeah, that's true. At least it is a little more dialed in. But my problem is we don't even know what's coming in this next update, other than they've said now the social rework and the marketplaces. That's the only things we know confirmed for sure that they've said are going to be in there. There's like 30 other things that they have talked about that they're working on. Are they trying to put all of those in? Are they trying to put 2 of them in? Are they trying to put 5 of them in? Half of them? We have no idea because they've been vague while trying to be transparent, if that makes sense. Ryan says, pretty sure they are going to hit us with a huge amount of content, though would definitely expect markets. Yeah, they've definitely said that markets are going to be added in with the currency system, and they have talked about some of the social rework stuff, and I would assume that's going to include permissions. If we don't get permissions in autumn, I'm going to lose my mind because we need to be able to better manage our large clan. I mean, we have like over 120 some members and growing every day. It's very hard to manage all that without having proper permission system. But they said early that was the focus. Yeah, yeah, the market and stuff, and that they have confirmed the social stuff. But let's go a little further down in their post here and see what else they have to say. They say, we know autumn is somewhat vague. The thing is, we need a few more weeks before we'll be in a position to commit to a more precise date. So that's the part I don't really like. It's just they're doing an update. And again, they're doing some sneak peeks on some stuff. So it eases it a little bit. But it's kind of weird to do an update talking about the update that's to come, but you're updating saying, look out for the next update in a couple weeks, if that makes sense. It's a roundabout way of like just stringing us along. Hey, hold on. Hey, hold on. But they did give us some stuff down below that I did see, and I'm going to pull them up on screen as some visuals and stuff. They have some cool animations and stuff that they shown us. But again, they did not confirm that these things are even coming in the next update. Some people are going to go out on a limb and infer that because it's in these posts, it means that it's coming. And that's just not the case. I really have a hard time accepting that all of these things are coming just because they've talked about them. Especially in the last post they did, they talked about a lot of stuff saying that this is what we're working on. That does not mean, and they even said we cannot be 100% certain that these things will make it into the patch. So that's my concern is right here they say they need a few more weeks before they can commit to a precise date. And that's just the date. Like we still don't precisely know, okay, what has made through the checks and balances or what is your goal of adding what in? Like what is going to make it in that you are trying to have it make it in? So they're saying that's just because in case they need some extra time to wrap things up, which I completely understand 100%. But again, this post is just kind of funny because it's a post, it's an update post talking about wait for the next update so we can talk about the upcoming update. It's a little bit funny. EOTB says so big, it creates a bug unforeseen that could keep them down for days. I hope not, but risk reward for the community, just looking for the technical standpoint. Yeah, that's 100% true too. I don't want some big game breaking bugs. I think that game breaking bugs, well, they break the game. So hopefully this gets to a fair point. Honestly, I think early access may have been a little bit early, and I think that they talk about that down below a little bit as well. It may have been a little bit early. EOTB says, yeah, I read into that as in 2 weeks, we will talk more in detail, which is what they did last time too, if you remember. They said, these are the things we're working on. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks about some more stuff that could make it in or whatever. And now here we are a couple weeks later, and they're saying the same thing. They're like, here's a couple other things. We'll see you in the next couple weeks, when none of these things along the way we know are even going to make it in. So it's kind of weird. I'm happy to see the development, but the way that they're portraying it is like, here's all the stuff we're working on. We'll tell you soon what's going to be in this. We'll tell you soon what's going to be in this. And we just haven't really heard yet what's going to be in it. We'll talk in more detail over the details, then roughly ST 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. Again, I'm not like complaining about them talking about these things because I love seeing the sneak peeks, but I think that we all need to make sure that our expectations are in check and that we're all on the same page and the understanding that we need to be on the same page and understanding that these things may not make it in, even though they're talking about them and working on them. Like, I like the way Star Citizen does it because they're very clear of, we are working on these things. This ship's not going to make it in this update. This feature's not going to make it in this update, but this is what we're working on. They have that clear distinction. EOTB, I don't know why that message didn't show up on stream, but it said carrot on a stick. Yeah, essentially. And I'm not trying to just bash mainframe or anything. I do appreciate the clarity on, I just want more clarity. I like the transparency on what they're working on. It would be nice to know from a content creator standpoint, what is actually going to be, what are they trying to put in this update? That's why I like Star Citizen's updates, because you can go on the tracker and you can see all the things that maybe got delayed because they have blockers, or all the things that got added or removed. It would just be nice to know. And I don't think that's too unreasonable, to be honest. It is nice, though, to see what they are currently working on. They go on to say, why don't we release content earlier? During the past 2 months, we developed more than 10 patches and fixes addressing bugs, correcting issues, and ensuring server stability, and introducing minor changes. Which that is true. I don't want to devalue any of that. They have done a lot of little small patches, iterations, and changes and quality of life stuff in the background. They've changed stack sizes. They've introduced the signs to help, have a little bit better management. They've given us some stuff. And I agree that this was probably a little bit too early, and they're trying to get it to the point where it should have been when it came out into early access. But I think, again, down below, they talk about this is really their beta or their alpha. And that's what they're using it for. Early access, some people have come to know that this is the game and it's mostly done and has a lot of its features, but it's not fully done. And that's not really the case here. They're using it a little bit different, and I think that's perfectly okay. Ryan says, I wonder if the bottleneck is the bug fixing element of the team for the in-house build. Yeah, that very well could be. Who knows, actually? We don't actually know too much about their in-house build stuff. And they just don't know yet which things that have fallen over during development can be fixed fast enough. That very well may be. But they've been very clear on a lot of the server statistics and server end stuff in the past. So you think they would just come out and tell us, like, hey, we're having some issues fixing this, this, and this. We're working on it. But this is the things that we're trying to get ready for you. And I'm not going to tell them how to do their PR, I'm just simply commenting on the things that I'm perceiving, right? I'm not telling them to, we're here for the ride. We're along for the ride. We have no bearing. They have no obligation to accept what we're saying at all. You'd think they would, because again, it's a community thing. So they want feedback and stuff, or they wouldn't have those systems in place, but we're along for the ride at the end of the day. They are free to do it however they see fit. EOTB says, feeling mixed emotions. On one hand, I appreciate the transparency, acknowledging that early access might have felt too early is a refreshing level of honesty. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. All I'm saying is I love the transparency on what you guys are working on. I would like to know what we can expect. So it gives us something to talk about, right? Because if I know the churches, the open world PvP, and X, Y, and Z are coming in, those are what we're actually focusing on trying to get into the next patch. That gives us a lot to talk about. Now we can focus in on that. We can talk about that till we turn blue in the face, tear it apart with all of our ideas and theory craft and stuff, and have some fun. Because a big part of my channel is theory craft. I love theory crafting on things. I have a vivid imagination on a lot of things, and I have a lot of really good, what I think are really good ideas about things that could be implemented, but a lot of them may be far-fetched and they're not actually going to get implemented. But I love theory craft. I think it's fun. It's fun to engage with you guys and have that what if of the future. It's exciting. It's invigorating to have those conversations. Ryan says, I think that the dev team has been most transparent of any I've seen at EOTB, and I'll cut them a lot of slack for that alone. Ryan, I agree with you. They are pretty transparent. I think the disconnect, again, comes from they're showing us the things that they're working on without showing us the things that are to come. And I hope that makes sense. Star Citizen, it's really clear. Here's what you can expect. Here's what's coming. Project Zomboid, they put out updates literally talking about all the features that they're working on that are going to be implemented in the patches as they come out. And here we have that strange disconnect of these are what we're working on, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Come back in a couple weeks. This is what we're working on. Here's some screenshots and stuff. Like, what if these animations? We don't even know if these animations that they showed us down below are even really going to be making it in. We'll break it down as we get down there. But EOTB says, feeling impatient yet understanding the lack of precise release date is frustrating. But as a player, I get it. It's better that they take their time to avoid bugs and poor implementations. Still awaiting. Yeah, no, I agree. Sometimes I think, though, that getting stuff to us in a mostly good state, like Star Citizen will do this. And again, I know I say certain games a lot. I pull from the information that I have available to me. And one of those is Star Citizen. They will pull things from the tracker as they find blockers for them, but they are not afraid to push a patch even though it's going to have problems, and they know it'll have problems. Unless it has a blocker that is severely detrimental to the core game systems, they will push something and let us figure it out in-game, find the bugs, find the workarounds and stuff, and then they will work on an implementation to fix it. And I think that that's a good thing, to not hold stuff back too long. If you hold things back too long, you lose too much of your audience. It actually can slow down progress. If look at, for instance, I don't know if anyone's followed Hytale at all. Hytale is a very interesting project. It's a very interesting game. It's made by Hytale Studios or Hypixel Studios or whatever it is, people who run the Hypixel server. And they are making their own game and their own engine and all this fancy stuff. Looks really, really cool. That game has been in development hell. I think, from what my understanding from everyone who makes content for that game, there's some really great people who make Hytale news videos and stuff. From my understanding, it's in development hell because they're perfectionists. They're trying their best to make it all perfect, which I can respect, but there has to be a certain level and a certain stage where you say, we need to move forward with this. Otherwise, nothing will ever come out. And I think that happened with Skull and Bones, that Ubisoft pirate game, and then eventually they just released it and it just flopped because they didn't give it the love and attention it needed. That's beside the point. So I do think that there's something to be said about waiting for stuff to bake. You got to let it cook. You got to let it cook. That's for sure. You got to let it bake. You don't want unleavened bread. You don't want, that doughy bread in the middle. You want it fully baked all the way through. I get it. But sometimes giving us something that's a little doughy but has some sustenance to it allows us to then help them make it better along the way more quickly. The further you hold back the first patch, the further back the second patch is going to be. And that's just my opinion. EOTB says Icarus is a survival game and a small dev team, but they at least go out of their way weekly. And I don't want this to turn into, we're shitting on Mainframe. I like Mainframe. I think they are a very transparent company, and I think that they do care about our feedback. I think they're doing a great job with PAX Day so far. I think it was in a very rough state in the alpha I was in, and it has gotten exponentially better already. I think the future for PAX Day is very bright. So I don't want everyone to get the thought that Voidlock doesn't like, that Inner Sleuths doesn't like Mainframe or PAX Day. I absolutely love the project. I would not be here talking with you guys, having this conversation if I didn't. Let's keep moving down their post here. So they go on to say that they developed a bunch of bug fix patches and stuff, correcting issues in server stability. They say the autumn update will introduce larger changes and new features, and therefore requires more time. That's obvious. I mean, that's everyone with half a brain cell would understand that. Yeah, bigger patches take more time. Duh. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Makes sense. Our teams are making good progress, and we'll start sharing the first details very soon, as you can read below. So they even admit these are the first details. They have not really told us too much of what is already being worked on what's going to come in. And I think they are acknowledging that right there. EOTB says, I love Mainframe, been following it for over a year, certainly not bashing, more of a recommended communication plan. Yeah, and that's all we can do. We can just voice our opinions, make sure that we are all making our voices heard. And I like doing it in a respectful way. I'm not in any way disparaging them at all. I love the project, love the team. I think they're doing a great job. I think they have their hands full for sure. I think this next update's really going to be make or break in some capacity for a lot of people. I think a lot of people have already, it's clear a lot of people have already put the game down, but I think this next update is going to be pivotal to see how many people actually come back to the game and how many new people are joining the game. It's going to be a big, big moment for them. And it's either going to be a nothing burger or a broken hot mess, and people are going to put it down for much longer, or it's going to be more of a success with a lot of features that we were needing and that is nice and polished. And I think then the community will flourish. Once we get like a few more systems in place, we can play a lot more than we currently are. And we are already playing a lot. But once we have like a way to actually trade, actual permissions, more different varieties of certain things, more fleshed out crafting, I think it's really going to allow the game to shine for longer because we'll have more systems in place to it, like the emotes that'll allow us to RP better, which will then make it easier to have longevity in the game. But I do agree, longer updates, they obviously take more time. So some of the first details we're going to read about below here, they say, if everything goes according to plan, we then want to release another content update at the turn of the year. So what they're saying here is, if this autumn update goes well, going from winter into spring, there's going to be another update somewhere in there around the turn of the year. So around January, they're going to try and do another update. That is pretty close together. They went from I thought it was going to be like quarterly updates, it was starting to look like, but it seems as though they had to get a lot of the back-end stuff taken care of, and they're still working on that, but they had to get a lot of that stuff taken care of, all the initial bugs, which again makes sense. And now we're getting our first content update, so I think they're going to be a little closer together than we all thought originally. I thought they were going to be like quarterly because that's kind of how it was set up from the first one, but now that we have more insight from them, I think it's going to be a little more often than that. Pete says, I don't like that you have to use magic to kill a bear. I mean, killing a bear should not be easy though. Like a bear, if you were a single soldier out in the woods and there was a bear, that would be, maybe if you have a pike or something, but that thing's going to fuck you up still. But I'm there with you. I think that allowing solo players to do a little bit more stuff, because it is a game at the end of the day, does not need to be 100% realistic all the time. I think that, here, let's put it this way. I don't like that you have to, or that people feel that they have to cheese things. I am adamantly against exploiting, cheating, cheesing, hacking, all that stuff, because we do stuff legitimately. We do our best to do stuff legitimately. I will never endorse, I don't even tell people about a lot of the exploits. I know some people, they make videos on it and they glorify it because it gets the clicks, right? I would much rather not support those things and not show people how to exploit, because I think that that's bad for the game. It garners terrible data. It skews existing data. It muddies the water a lot. And it's really just cheating. You didn't earn any of that stuff that you got by cheesing the game. You cheated. And that's why I'm adamantly against it. I know it's not going to jive with everyone, but that's just how I see. No, I'm not saying that fireballing bears is cheating, but some people abuse the mesmerize fireball thing. We have seen that almost every single dungeon run we go on. We'll have 2-3 dungeon runs going on at the same time, and there's someone in every single one of those abusing the mechanics, hiding on a wall, stabbing things so they can't be hit. I mean, you can see it in my streams. It happens all the time. It's that stuff bothers me because you're skewing the data and you're ruining the existing data that is there, and you're just garnering terrible, terrible data. Because they're looking at all these things right now. How many people are getting these sigils? How long did it take to kill on them? How much damage did they take in return? I'm sure they're collecting all of that data. Ryan says, funnily enough, I'm doing exactly that. Fireballing bears, not cheating. Cheating is lame. Yeah, I agree. Fireballing is perfectly fine. But here's the thing, Pete. If we have fire and magic and stuff that's at our disposal, if they're balancing for people who aren't using the magic, the people who are using the magic are at a severe advantage and they're just above and beyond, making everything way too easy. So I think you have to balance for the median, not just people who like don't want to use the magic or don't think they need to use the magic. You need to find a good balance there. EOTB says, LOL, same, at Ryan. The leatherworking is not worthy yet. My leatherworking is not worthy yet. Yeah, leatherworking is one of the hardest things to get up right now, honestly. So they say development status, rest assured, even though we don't always have the time to respond to your feedback and suggestions, we do read and consider everything. So please continue to send us your thoughts about PAX Day. Some of the discussions on Discord have already been incredibly insightful. So right there you have it. Mainframe likes to hear from us. They like to hear from the community. Maybe they tune into these streams. Maybe making your voice heard here can help get something implemented because it'll spark something up and give them a good idea. So don't be shy in chat, everybody. One of my favorite things to do, in fact, it's probably my favorite thing to do, is interact with you guys in chat, have these conversations in these chill streams where we're just hanging out, having a good time, talking about things that we want to talk about. So if you guys have any thoughts at all, don't be shy. Let them rip in chat. Let's get the discussions rolling. They go on to say, was the early access release too early? Maybe, they say. Although, as we stated, this is early access in a very real sense of the term, a beta for our game. And we never intended to have everything available on day one. We needed to validate some of the assumptions we had before starting to introduce key features. And that was always going to take time. So they tell you right there how they're using early access. This is legitimately a beta. They're using it as if it's like, a lot of games, they won't even really do early access until it has, like I said before, until it has a lot of the features that they need in the game. I'm kind of glad that we get to be here at this stage, though. Knowing now, we should all be able to change our perception of it a little bit, because this is not really an early access. It's more of a beta. And a lot of people, I think, they think that it goes alpha, beta, early access, incremental updates, and then full release, and then expansion content down the way, or updates to it. When realistically, they're using it as alpha, early access, and then early access. They skipped the whole actual like beta phase. A lot of people have that set in their mind, and me too. I think that it normally goes alpha, beta, then early access. I don't think you can have beta branches on your early access release trains and stuff, but I think a lot of us had the assumption that this was like a normal early access when they're using it as a beta. This is, for all intents and purposes, a beta. And it makes sense because I was in the alpha. They just didn't do a beta off the platform. They put it right onto Steam and got it rolling, which I think is okay, because if you think about it, it's going to kind of allow them to do two birds, one stone. They're able to develop the game now while also generating some revenue, getting the copy into people's hands, as well as collecting the data on how much they're going to need to charge once the game does go full release. Because again, they're using this time, I believe, to find out how much they're going to have to charge per plot per month. Because again, remember, you're going to have to pay a subscription for your plots. that are placed in the world, obviously. They go on to say, seeing how players engage with the game as it is today, still very raw and missing some critical systems, is vital in steering development. We thank you for your patience as we work on adding the missing pieces to the game and improving what's already there. So they put it all out in the open. This is a very telling post from them and a very telling sentence here. It's still in its very raw form and it's missing a lot of critical systems, and they have acknowledged that. This is a beta for all intents and purposes. It's a beta. It's borderline alpha beta. That's what we have right here. This is not technically what most people would probably think as being an early access release. So they go on to say that being said, let's move on to what the devs have been cooking part. So again, this is that disconnect where they're telling us what they're cooking. They're not telling us what they're baking, like what's actually going to come out in the next update. Can we have like some key points? We know of 2. That's it. We only know of 2. As far as I know, we only really actually know of 2. All the rest are things that they're in the oven, they're being cooked, but we don't know. I guess maybe they don't know either. Maybe it's just what's gonna be ready is what will come out, I guess, potentially. Maybe, I don't know. EOTB says, or what's ready. Well, what the devs have been cooking part, they say. So this is not a confirmation, I don't think. We're going to get into it here of what is actually to come. So let's get right into it then and find out. They say content. We recently shared some details on what the team is currently focusing on. Again, not what's coming out. This is what they're focusing on. So like this team is working on this team's working on that. Doesn't mean it's coming in this next post though, or in the next update. Make sure to read that post if you haven't already to refresh your memory. It's still a bit too, this is here they go right here. It's still a bit too soon for us to give you fully fledged patch notes on the autumn update. I don't think anyone's really asking for full-fledged patch notes. I think the only thing people have actually been asking and wanting is to know what topics are you trying to get in. We know what you're working on. We understand that you have all these great plans that are in the works for the game, but which ones of them are you trying your best to make sure they get into this update? Maybe they're playing it extra safe and they'd rather not tell us that, because if they put something on there like the church system or the religion system, and then they realize it's not going to be ready for a while because they ran into some problems, then having to redact that can sometimes, that's what Star Citizen gets flack for a lot of the times. They'll put out an update in patch notes or, what's to come on the roadmap, and it'll get blocked from something and then it'll get bumped and pulled from the roadmap. They get a lot of flack for that. So maybe they're trying to avoid that flack. But personally, I would like to know the things. Can they put this in a list of a hierarchy of what is the most important that they're trying to get in soon? That would be nice to know. But it's kind of useless information if we don't know that it's even coming in the next update. It's useless information for the context of the next update. It's great to know what they're working on, though. I don't want to devalue that. It's great to know what they're working on. They say, that said, some things have progressed enough that we'll be able to share more details in the coming weeks. Here's a sneak peek. So again, it's more of that, just wait, but we still don't know if it's coming in the next patch, but here's some stuff, here's some breadcrumbs, wait, carrot on a stick. They say combat improvements, improved responsiveness and readability, improved hit detection, improved nameplates, ability to cancel attacks and spell casting, and more. So those are things that they touched on. But again, remember, just right up above the last sentence, they said, it's too soon for us to give you fully fledged patch notes for the autumn update. And some things have progressed enough that we're willing to share more details in the coming weeks. Take that for what it's worth. Huge grain of salt. We still don't know if any of this combat stuff is really going to make it in, because they have not for sure stated as such. But let's break it down a little bit here and see what we got. So, improved responsiveness and readability. I'm trying to think of what this could mean here. So, improved responsiveness probably most likely means your input into your character. EOTB says excited but cautious. Improvements to responsiveness, hit detection, attack cancellation. Sounds great, but I'd be anxious to see if they make any real difference. Hopes. Well, here's the thing, EOTB. I know for a fact that from the alpha to early access, they made great strides in the authority you have over your character's movements. It felt night and day different in terms of the fluidity of combat, and they really didn't change that much. All they did was tweak a few key things here and there by small amounts, and it drastically changed the way it feels. So I think they can do a lot with a little here. I think they need to refine it in. I'm not opposed to drastic sweeping changes to some things and then figure out what works, implement the right thing, and go from there. Because again, we're testing stuff. Nothing we're doing here really matters other than building community, meeting some cool friends, and testing stuff out for them. At the end of the day, that's really it. So readability is probably going to be enemies. I think they're talking about reading enemies and animations and things like that, most likely. Improved hit detections. I think that's going to be pretty good because sometimes the sweeping strike stuff is a bit, well, let's say hit or miss. And it's a bit dodgy there. Improved nameplates. This one I'm excited for because right now the nameplates are all a sea of red pretty much, like your health bars. Hopefully we get some nice, easily understandable nameplates that can convey the information they need to. I would love to see diminished returns. Some of you guys are going to freak out for me saying that probably, but I would love to see diminished returns in PvP, and I'd love to see diminished returns on NPCs and from NPCs. I think that it's very important to have diminished returns. Voodoo Actual, how's it going, buddy? Welcome to the stream. He says dodge mechanic would be nice. I agree. Yeah, dodge would be really nice. Even if it's just like a sidestep or an avoidance of some sort, as opposed to like a whole ass dodge, you know? UTB says agreed. Even little things during early access, I've noticed tweaks. Yeah, 100%. Voodoo Actual says puns for days. So the nameplates, I'm really hopeful for that. Hopefully, because an interface can really make or break a game. And World of Warcraft, early on in their alpha that I was in, the nameplates and the UI was abysmal. And now it changed over to what we know and love today. And obviously they have add-ons, so you can change all that stuff. And then the other part they say is ability to cancel attacks and spellcasting and more. I think that's going to be great for the game. That's one of my biggest complaints about the magic is you go to do something and you get locked into it and then you realize, oh, I actually pulled, and now you're sitting duck while you cast some extremely long buff that's going on everybody, and now you're dead. And in PvP as well, I think that is going to be very good to be able to juke people. You can start to feint attacks. It's almost like you're getting feints built in to the combat without actually building in a feint ability to fake your attacks. They go on to say early PvE experience rework, more accessibility or more accessible enemy camps. And what they mean by that is they're talking about getting into these dungeons a little, not into the dungeons, but into these POIs a little easier. And they've talked about that on how to solo the game. They did a whole announcement that we did on one of our episodes of PaxCast where they were talking about the solo play. But the experience rework, probably leveling your weapons, maybe crafting stuff. No, they have a bullet point down below about crafting. So I'm not sure what the PvE experience rework could mean. Maybe it means as opposed to physicalized actual experience, it's your experience with PvE. I do know down below that we have a picture of one of the reworked camps. We're going to bring that up on screen as well here in a minute once we get down to the media associated with this. Better readability of their overall strength. So they're probably going to be changing the way that these guys look. All the different mobs will probably have more of a tiered look to them, kind of like, for instance, if you've watched my Space Marines 2 gameplay, you can tell which one of the Tyranids are bigger and stronger and more nasty looking based on their appearance. So hopefully we start to get that with the mobs and the NPCs. We can kind of do it with the animals already, but it really comes down to their names for a lot of the other Zebians. You start to learn what their attacks are and stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to better tell what's out there in the world without just needing to rely on the nameplates and some more actual physicalized changes on their models or something. So you'll be able to tell their readability and their overall strength. If there's any points along the way that you guys have comments on or anything like that, please chip in to the conversation here. EOTB says, encourage smoother and more accessible early game progression is a big plus. Yeah, I think it definitely is. I do still want it to be a social game. I don't think that you should be able to go do crazy stuff by yourself. I think that really leaning into the whole social aspect is going to make the game flourish. And then EOTB says, especially for onboarding new players. Their next bullet point here is reworking the Inquisition, the cultists, and the Lost Souls enemy factions to give them more character and some uniqueness. This could mean so much. This could be really, really big. And I think we got a little glimpse into this down below. We have an image of some of the things that they're talking about up here. And one of these images talks about the rework of some of the POIs. I think they're going to be implementing a lot more of the lore and stuff into the game now by changing the way these bases look, changing the way the enemy factions look, and probably, presumably, the way that you interact with them. They're going to have some more unique stuff about them as well. So they've said the Inquisition, the Cultist, and the Lost Souls factions. So that's 3 different factions there. And it's interesting that they say the Lost Souls enemy faction. I did not know that that was really a faction, per se. I thought the Lost Souls were just more of like creatures that were out in the world. Apparently, it's its own faction. Maybe that means we're going to get dungeons that are circled around them in the future. Maybe it means they're going to have bosses. I mean, they kind of already do have bosses, and they are in some POIs. I don't think there's any like actual dedicated dungeons to them, though. I think the only dungeons we currently have are actually the Zebians. You have the ring forts and stuff like that. EOTB says, intrigued. Adding more character and uniqueness to enemies' factions sounds promising, but I hope it's not just cosmetic, more magic, or mix it up. Yeah, I agree. But I do think that even if it is just visual, that more stuff will probably come down the road. So I'm thankful to have any more uniqueness. I think uniqueness and having different varieties and things in the game is really important to it. Ryan says, me either. They just seem to be wandering souls. Be good to see once they're fleshed out, or that they're fleshed out. Definitely be more interested in seeing more depth in the factions. Yeah, I love that stuff. Having different faction identity, different clan identity and stuff like that, that means a lot to me. Because it's how you're interacting with the world. It's the world around you. And that's why in Skyrim, I always put in factions of Skyrim with their patrols and all of their outposts and all of their wandering patrols and stuff and their salesmen and their merchants and everything to make the world feel alive. And I think that when we get more uniqueness there, it's really going to help it shine. The next point that they talk about is the crafting system enhancements. Addition to our journal, formerly known as the Compendium, to compile all of your known recipes in one easy to consult way. So it's a quality of and other quality of life improvements, rebalancing, etc. This is another really big point. And I actually have an image here. So let me pull it up. Give me 1 second. Let me resize this. So here we go. This is the image that they're talking about here for their journal. So you can see it says Compendium still up there, but they call it the journal now. It looks like on the left-hand side, you have crafting skills, combat skills, recipes, and ingredients are the different tabs, and this is debugging. So we're getting to see behind the scenes here a little bit, guys. So to take this with a grain of salt. This is not set in stone. This is not final product. We're talking about a beta game and looking into what the devs are showing us here. So this is not like an end all be all. But they're under ingredients, and then you can click on it. Like you can see in the top right, barley grain, and it says used in recipes, plain barley porridge and barley flour. So you could see, I hope that those are hyperlinks. So you can actually click them and they take you to other parts or into your actual crafting or something like that. That'd be really, really nice. AOTB says you like to see them fight each other. Oh, the different factions. Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think it's kind of odd that like the deer and the boars and the wolves and stuff don't really fight, and they're all friends with. We don't know what the lore is behind it. There could be like dark magic as to why certain things are the way they are. We're not really too sure, to be honest. But this is something in the right direction, honestly. I really like that they're coming out with this compendium or this journal or whatever they want to call it, because this is going to make it a lot easier in game to find the things that we need to find, to talk about and research things that we need to talk about and research in the game without having to go out to an external tool. I love when games have internal tools that are fully fleshed out for these types of things. EOTB says this helps in a single source from what I need to craft something without needing to run back to the crafting station. Yeah, that as well. And they have talked really early on about being able to pin recipes. So I would think that that probably is going to be coming as well. Who knows? I'm just theory crafting here a little bit. But that is their journal. It's going to be an easy way to consult the stuff that you need to. They're also talking about quality of life improvements, rebalancing, etc. to the crafting system. So hopefully, what are some pitfalls of the crafting system that you guys still currently see? I know some recipes and stuff, they're missing something before or after them, and it makes it hard to level. What is like what's the biggest downside that you've seen with some of the different crafting chains currently? Ryan says, hopefully that journal will allow people to see the recipes they unlock by touching and crafting things instead of only seeing them when they get to the level to unlock on their bench. Would help the new player experience, as that part is confusing for players. I agree 100%. I do like when there's still mystery though. So hopefully it's not just like a end all be all, here's everything type deal. Hopefully this can help new players while still preserving the level of mystery and intrigue in the world. EOTB says the crossover between skills. You think that, what do you mean by that? The crossover between skills? Oh, like leatherworking and armor smithing and stuff. I think that's the whole community thing though, right? They don't really I think that once the game comes out, it's not going to be as easy as you think it is to be a master of everything. You're going to have to rely on a lot of other people in order to make things work. Ryan Powell, a goal to work toward? Oh yeah, items to make things. Yeah, I think that some things as you reach those certain tiers, I think they should come unlocked in brackets, like in tiers, you know. As you reach this level, you now get these things available to you that you can see them. They're grayed out. Maybe you have a little bit of information that's leading you on as to what you should look for or something. Maybe it's grayed out like, you know, what's that Pokemon? And you don't know, but you got to find it. I do want some level. I don't know if this is necessarily what that's going to be. This is probably just going to be a, hey, here's all the information in the whole game. Have at it, potentially. We'll have to wait and see. Are there any things on this image? Let me make it full screen here for a second. Is there anything in this image that is new, that is a little bit of a sneak peek? Conditioned mead with weak undertones. Conditioned red wine with weak undertones. Is that new or do those already exist? Conditioned mead from Cloudy Base. I'm trying to see if there's anything else new in here. Hunter's Bench, that stuff's all old. Blueberries, barley flour, antlers, intestines. That stuff all looks the same. So I'm curious. It looks like just those bases and stuff. Oh, they're already in there. Okay, yeah, because I haven't done brewing, so those things are already there. All of these already exist. I just like to see if there's any little hints that they put in there. You can see the early access number in the top left corner, the build number 5724114369. That's the build number of this. But that is their compendium that they're working on. The next thing that they talk about here is lore. The world of PAX Day has a history that waits to be unveiled. It is coming. Pretty vague. We don't really know what exactly that could mean. But hopefully it means a very, very rich world of lore. And I hope that they're keeping certain things open-ended. Like the religion system, I hope they don't just drive it home that we have to use this one religion. Because I'm going to RP it the way I want to RP it regardless. So they might as well leave us the option of naming the different titles and ranks and stuff within the religion system. Because I don't want to be forced to have a pope. I want to have something like a druid that has all of our, you know, some archdruid or something like that. I want people to have the freedom to be able, that's what we're all about here. I want people to have the freedom to be able to enjoy their RP that they're engaging with and not just be forced into some lore. But they say that it is coming. So hopefully, again, are we getting it in this next update? I don't know. They have not told us that. They just said that they're working on it and it's apparently coming. Some people are going to read that as it's coming for sure. EOTB says people are good percent. People, a good percent are very visual. Yeah. Ryan says making the icons for different things is a big deal for me. I like to identify something by sight purely. Good point, EOTB. Yeah, I would agree. I know there's a lot of people that are visual. There's some people that are, they like text. Some people like physicalized items. Some people like, everyone likes different things. So hopefully they give us a lot of these things that are applicable to everybody. I like the freedom. That's my big thing. I like the freedom to engage with the game and with RP and stuff the way that I want to, and not just the way that the game wants to force you to. So hopefully the religion system is a little bit more open. We've talked a lot about that in the past. We're going to be doing an upcoming podcast talking probably specifically about the lore behind the religion system that we're working with several other people in the community to get brought to fruition for you guys. But don't let anyone stop your fun and your RP. One of our big rules is don't implicate others in your RP and try to humor other people's level of RP. That's pretty much the golden rules of RP. Don't implicate someone else in your RP. Just have fun. EOTB says, crafting pleased. A journal for recipes and rebalancing shows attention to detail. Make crafting more streamlined and enjoyable. Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched my alpha stream where I was like bashing my head against the wall with that flax. And I know some stuff is still a grind and a lot of stuff is going to stay a grind. But that being said, I think that it should still respect your time. And I did not like early on when you would fail something, you'd get nothing to show for it, just a kick in the teeth. That did not respect your time as a player. Because if I'm already putting the time in to go and get the materials, I think I'm a big fan of skill-based things, because then you have no one to blame but yourself. Like personal skill-based things. But going out and farming all these things just to see them all get thrown away and wasted, like I was doing with the flax really early on, where you got like nothing in return for failing something, that was terrible. Ryan says, also, for the love of all, give me herbalism. Let me interact with the environment using it. Summon demons, spirits, etc., etc. Open the herbalism box mainframe. I love things like that. I love spooky season. This is my favorite time of year, coming into fall, coming into autumn. You get Halloween, the air gets crisp, the veil becomes thin, and you just get that creep factor. I love it. It's my favorite time of year. I love when games embrace it. I love haunted houses, all that stuff. We go to like farmers markets and fairs. There's the world's largest corn maze that's by us. It's a lot of fun to do all of the seasonal spooky things. You get to watch scary movies, cuddle up on the couch and just have a good time and relax, get your warm drinks, all of that good stuff, your pumpkin spice, whatever it is for you. But I love, love, love this season. It is absolutely hands down my favorite season. So the more that they give us those creepy, spooky things like you're talking about there, we know. So let me put it this way. What did they do with crossbows on the weapon skill tree? I've talked about this before on stream, but what did they do with crossbows? They took it off and they said it was too early for it, right? There's warhammers, there's sledgehammers, and there's herbalism that's still on there, and probably a couple others, but they don't actually do anything yet. They weren't removed, and they never said that it was too early for them. So that could be an indication that we're getting them sooner, but again, that's theory craft. That's unsubstantiated, unconfirmed, but it would allude to that, right? Because why wouldn't they remove those as well? If it was too early for one, you'd think it'd be too early for the others. I cannot wait to do herbalism. I like making potions and stuff. It's a lot of fun for me. I think that it's just cool in general. I made, what was it called? Butterbeer from Harry Potter. I found a recipe for that. We made butterbeer, and you feel like you're actually brewing up some potions or some tonics when you actually make that stuff. That whole lore is a lot of fun for me. I really like that in real life and in game. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. So the herbalism part, having a little spice garden and stuff, they have to balance it. They have to balance it for sure. EOTB says lore unveiled. Curious. More lore adds depth, but the teasing makes me impatient to see what's revealed. Maybe getting them back. Getting what back? But yeah, I agree. Them just teasing like that, it just really lets our imagination run wild. But that's what we're here for. We're going to have fun and talk about those things. What do you think they mean by that? Ryan says 100%. They left them in for a reason. I agree. 100%. Oh, the crossbows. Yeah, true. But then why would they take them out? If they're going to leave them, they took them out for a reason. We're probably going to get it back, but they just said it was too early for them. But they left the other stuff in, which would indicate that it's not too early for them, right? Anyways, down below, they go on to say quality of life changes. We knew about the compass. So they're talking about a compass, new emotes, in a loop, addressing ninja looting. Please, for the love of God, for the love of all that is holy, for the love of all the redeemers and all of the gods that we made up in our RP system, please give us ways to deal with these things. It's kind of going to deal with itself once we get PvP to the greater area, because dungeons are all in PvP zones. So you'll be able to just fight the people. But I don't want dungeons from PvE to just turn into big PvP farming zones for people. It's going to be everything with this game is such a fine line, right? There's an extremely fine line with all these things where what's too much, what's not enough, what's just far enough. It's going to be interesting to see what they mean by that. But they're going to be addressing ninja looting. Maybe that's a flagging system. If it is a flagging system, that's a problem, because all people have to do then, like in World of Warcraft early on, was just flag something. Maybe they're going to make it so it's personalized loot drops. I don't know how they would do that. They don't seem to want to do anything personalized as it is, so I don't know that they would do that. But I wish they would tell us a little more about that addressing ninja looting. We've had on stream before, you guys could see, we've had several instances of people try to do that and abuse different game mechanics and stuff, and it's really just shitty that people are like that and fall back to that. I'm all about having fun, about building community and respecting one another. That's our first and foremost thing. So it's disheartening to see that type of stuff fester within the community, and that's why I don't try to hide it from the streams. If somebody's going to act a certain way, I just let them do it. I don't like put anyone on blast. I just, here it is. You see for yourself. I'm very transparent with a lot of things. You can see exactly how I run stuff, exactly how we do things, and I just try to be as transparent as possible. But I'm not going to hide when someone is acting a fool in the community, because I think that's important to let other people know and see their actions speaking for their actions. It's them doing it themselves, It's one thing to take someone's word on something. I trust but verify. If someone told me, hey, that person, you got to watch out for them, they do X, Y, and Z, I like to see for myself before I start treating someone a certain way or having my opinions on it. Obviously, we're all going to get our own opinions of things based on what other people say, but I'm a firm believer of go to the source. That's why I just let things happen on stream the way that they do, and you guys get to see them firsthand for yourself and make your own inferences on them. Whenever I do my streams with RP and stuff, you guys do get to glance in. The veil gets lifted between my inner thought, because I like to narrate stuff and my reasoning behind stuff. So you're getting an inner thought, not necessarily what my character is saying or doing. So you're seeing a little bit of the OOC decision making behind the in-character's RP stuff. Voodoo Actual says, I really enjoy the RP, but I also like the grind. There's something calming about chopping trees. Yeah, I don't mind the grind, again, as long as it respects your time. I don't like the grind when it was like an alpha where you go and you grind the stuff and then you bring it back and it all gets thrown out the window like dust in the wind. You have nothing to show for it when you failed back then, and it was detrimental to respecting your time, honestly. You had nothing to show for it. You would spend hours and produce nothing. That was the main problem that I had with the alpha. Obviously, that's not really the case so much anymore. They're starting to respect your time more and more as time goes on, but that was a big issue. So addressing ninja looting, I can't wait to see what that is. New building pieces. They've talked about that before. We're getting some new stone sets, as what presumably like a whole type of stone, like limestone or granite or whatever it may be. Maybe some fancier stuff that's higher up on the tiers. We know about the new archways and things like that, which is great. If it can cut down on the building pieces that people have to use to build their stuff, I do think they need to fundamentally change the plot system and the building system and the whole plots and everything. But that's for another story, unless we want to talk about it. But they say new building pieces, new signs, so that's good. They're going to keep expanding upon the signs system. A recycling system for crafting, which they have told us about before. So they are reaffirming that here, that we're going to be getting a recycling system. Presumably you get some of the materials back. Because realistically, you should never really lose any metal material. You could need to rework it. It could become damaged or messed up or whatever. You're going to lose some tiny amounts from wear and tear, from sharpening and stuff that gets turned into dust and whatever over time. But the pieces that you cut off, it's one of the things I liked about Vintage Story. The pieces I cut off for my metalworking, the pieces that I crimp off that I don't actually need anymore because I made what I needed to make, you get to reuse that, remelt it in the crucible, turn it back into reusable metal volume. You can liquefy it and make another ingot, and there you go, bada bing, bada boom. You can keep your scraps. So hopefully they let us do something like that. Guys, Vintage Story is a really, really great game. I'm going to be making a server for it, and we're going to have a lot of fun on there for people who want to engage. So join our community, join up, and come and have some fun with us. One button wood cutting and mining and more. So I know a lot of you are going to really, really enjoy that. You're going to be able to just sit there, click a button, your mining goes. You don't have to do the whole map thing where you open it up. Hey, Rook, how's it going? Welcome into the stream, buddy. Great to see you. Says, I love Vintage Story. Yeah, I love Vintage Story. Voodoo Actual says, losing everything sucked. It sure as hell did. Sure as hell did. Ryan says, I think I'm more excited about the emotes. Is the two of them included? I'm going to show the emotes and stuff here. You guys will be able to see. I'm going to bring them up on screen as well. I'm going to have to do it on the fly because I don't have a thing to bring in videos. So I'm going to have to, I'll add that. We'll do it on the fly here. We'll get that up. Voodoo Actual says, what up, Rook? I went snooping around your build earlier. Very nice work. Pete says the recycling really needs to happen. I agree. Pete, it's all about respecting our time, right? I want my time respected. If I'm going to be playing your game and spending time in your game, I want my time to mean something and I want to gain something from it. I'm not talking about instant gratification. I'm not talking about hold my hand and I need flashy lights everywhere, everything I do, like in some games where they have to reward you for logging in. I just want my time respected. If I'm going to spend 5 hours farming something and then I come back to make something with it and the crafting system has such gaps and holes in it that you do half of it gets wasted to the wind, that's not nice. That's not fun. That does not respect my time. We're all adults here, right? We have lives outside of this. And for me to sit down and spend so many hours doing something, I want my time to be respected. That's it. I respect you, you respect me. It's a mutual thing, right? And that's what we're all about. But the one button cutting and wood cutting and mining stuff, you can open your map right now and it'll lock you into cutting things. It'll be nice to actually just have the system in game though. And I think that that's essential. You know, I don't think I need to sit there and break my mouse button. I would like to see being able to hold down left click to do our attacks as well. I don't want to have to spam it because I don't think right now that you can actually hold down. Rook says, a certain Noonie has been over there decorating in the last few days. She's amazing. Yes, Noonie is amazing at building. She's really, really great. She loves doing all of that decorating stuff, making things look nice. She's got a really good heart too. She's a great person. Mainframe goes on to say in this post that we're not sure yet if they'll make it into the upcoming content update. And this is in caps and this is it's in bold, not in caps. The one after or the future update. So please bear with us. Note that way more things, big and small, are being worked on and we will provide additional updates soon. So again, that carrot on a stick, they're basically saying we don't know what of any of this is going to make it into the content update or the one after it or even future updates, but to bear with them and that big and small things are all being worked on. It's that carrot, guys. We're being strung along a little bit. I'm just happy that we're getting to see somewhat of the things that they're working on. EOTB says, what's your feeling on the processing station not rewarding a time to nothing, hurry up and wait, at least give us dialed back XP or something? Wait. Let me make sure I read that right. What is your feeling on the processing stations not rewarding? Oh, I see what you're saying. So when you take your leather and you go to the table and you turn it into the piece of leather, the refined leather that then goes up on the rack, you don't actually get any XP from putting it on the rack. I think that's an interesting concept. I think that's a hard thing to balance because think about it like this. Who gets the XP? The person who puts it on or the person who takes it off? Because again, those are shared, right? I'm not too sure. I would like to see the coal smelting EOTB be where it's all cooking at once, not one stack at a time. Put it all in there. If you're going to fill up a kiln with charcoal, with wood to make charcoal, it should all cook down at the same time. I don't care if it takes 25, 30, 45 hour, whatever it is. As long as it all cooks at the same time, I can just grab it all, put it all back in again. I think that'd be a much better way of doing it. That's just my opinion. Like using the time crafters and getting XP. Yeah, I get that. I'm just not sure how it would work. I think either the person who puts it on or takes it off would get the XP. But I think that's maybe why they steered away from it a little bit. I'm not too sure. But yeah, they state very clearly here, we're not sure what any of this is going to make it in this next update or the one after it or future updates. So again, none of this, all of this stuff we're talking about, this could come in 5 updates from now. This could come right before release. We have no idea. They don't really tell us. They're showing us what they're working on, but we don't know what's coming in the next update other than a couple very specific things. They say stay tuned as we dive deeper into these topics in the coming weeks. Thank you for your patience. Now we have some other stuff to see here. We have 3 animations and 3 images. You're seeing one of the images right here. We already went over the compendium. Let me switch this over really quick. Here's the new signs. So this is, I'm not really sure what that is. Is that a bucket with a stirrer and a rat on it? Is this like supposed to symbolize, I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. But we're getting new signs like that, not necessarily the small signs. Ryan says, I think time crafting without XP is fine, and honestly, it's nice to be able to push things or put things on and come back when they're ready because you log out and doing other things. Yeah, I don't think it's absolutely necessary that the timed crafters give XP or anything like that. Ratatouille? Maybe it's Ratatouille, yeah. You think that's alchemy, Pete? You'd think it'd be a potion bottle if it was alchemy. It could be alchemy. Doesn't really look like a cauldron, though. You'd think it'd be a cauldron if it was alchemy or something. You think that's apothecary, Rook? I'm not arguing one way or the other. I'm not too sure. I think it would, if it was apothecary, you'd think it might be like a cauldron or a potion bottle or something like that. But then again, I'm happy just to get more signs at all. I wish I had a cool one. If this is supposed to be for that, you think it's a mortar and pestle? I mean, I'm happy to put this outside the apothecary. As long as people think that that's what that is, you know? I like the potion sign, though. It's pretty cool. The little ones, I put those on the outside. EOTB says, the number one I love sitting. The number one love is sitting. Thank you, Void Alchemy. Red says, it's a bucket with a damn thermometer. Do you think that's what that is? Angelique, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming by the stream. I hope you're having a great day today. Welcome in. They say, more importantly, is that a squirrel? I think it's a rat. I don't think that's a squirrel. Its tail's curled. Traditionally, it looks like a rat to me. I think it's a rat. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think that is. Ya says herbalist. Oh, yeah. Maybe this is herbalism. They haven't taken it off the thing. This could be herbalism. They're smashing the herbs down, you know, making them into different things. And who knows? Could be. Might be onto something there. Ryan says, tail is nowhere near being bushy enough to be a squirrel. Yeah, the tail's a pretty good giveaway, I think. The rest of the body almost kind of could look like a squirrel, but I think the tail would need to be like big and floofy. EOTB says it's back of a go-kart and a gear stick. It's the back of a go-kart. Oh, I see. Yeah, could be. I think it's some type of bucket. Maybe it's a mortal and pestle. Who knows? Maybe it's for apothecary. Maybe it's for alchemy. Maybe it's for potions. Maybe it's for herbalism. Who knows? But pretty cool sign, nevertheless. Here's another big one, guys. This next one, pretty big. And I'm sure you guys have already seen these, but I want to talk about them. Bam. Big stuff right here. Here is a ring fort rework. It's a hamster, Voodoo says. Tell her it's Chonk. She has a hamster named Chonk. Here is part of the rework, or some of the rework of these ring forts. Hopefully we get a lot of variety in these. I'd like to see them be modular. I'd like to see them be, you know, a little bit different, where they can piece these things together and more easily make them in the future. That's what Star Citizen does. They have these different modular pieces that then get placed together cohesively to make these things randomized around on different worlds and things like that. So I'd like to see a high level of fidelity to these with a lot of variance between them. But you could see banners out front. Those banners probably mean something. I'm not too sure what those could mean. We could infer many, many different things, but you can see they have a clear, distinct entrance now. They have a clear, distinct watchtowers. They look more lived in. They look more lively. They don't look as ruined or destroyed. They have a lower little area in the city, and then it goes up into a upper landing and then in through gates again, or in through a wall again, into the ring up above. So pretty interesting to see this. There's palisades out front. There's a pile of something right there on the right side of the entrance. But this is really cool to see. EOTB says, love the no jumping over the walls for cheese. Ryan says, that also looks to me like that are cracking down on rock climbing escapade short. Oh, yeah, yeah. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like it might be harder to actually rock climb into these places now. There's going to be a more distinct entrance, a little more fortified, a little more organized by our Inquisition opposition here. Let me move this over a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to take this full screen and let's see if there's anything else that we're maybe missing in this picture. Palisades, what is this? There's like some clutter down by the door. Voodoo Actual, or Ryan says, add Voodoo Actual. I already sent in feedback that I would open my wallet for more tapestries. Oh, yeah. Yeah, tapestries are pretty cool. They allow for a lot of, they just make it feel lived in, you know? Once we get more clutter, I think it's going to be really good for that. It looks in the very back. Look in the back right, guys. It looks like there's something that's erected back there with a little cross on it. You see that? It's by the right side watchtower. And on the left, the opposite side, all the way on the left, by that left watchtower, looks like a weapons rack of sorts with pikes or something lined up on them. And there's two tents out front of the main pillar or the main tower in the middle. A wagon. There's a wagon right there in the middle. Do you guys see that? You go through the gates right there in on the left. There's a wagon. It looks like a coach that could tow something. It looks like there may be a lantern or something hanging on the front of it. I don't see any animals or horse or anything like that pulling it, but it's a parked wagon right there. The blockades near the front should have damage from running into them, the OTB says. Yeah, Ryan, they do have tents up there. A lot of really interesting stuff here. I think this is definitely Inquisition because there's crosses. There's a cross. Something's erected all the way in the back. I wonder what's around that corner because we can't really see around that back corner on the right. It looks like there's some little structure or something once you come right through to the right as well. It looks like maybe a blacksmith area. I see some weapon racks or something sitting there. Looks like there are crafting stations. Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. It looks down to the right there. It looks like crafting stations almost or something. That wagon really intrigues me. The towers really intrigue me. The cross in the back really intrigues me. Those banners, the structure redesign. It looks like you might be able to get and scale the wall in the back right to have an alternate entrance, which I think is important because I think if you want to be able to, you know, go in the back door, you should be able to do that. Can you zoom in on the area left of the tents? So what I can do is I can just make it bigger, which will kind of zoom in. There we go. It's a little grainy because this was not the highest resolution image that they uploaded, but those look like weapon racks. Right to the left of those tents, they look like weapon racks. And then down here, that's a wagon for sure. Some kind of cart. Could you imagine if we get those, guys? Could you imagine that? They've talked about it. How cool would that be? These are looking really cool. I'm excited to see what's going to come of these. But there you have it. That is Ring Fort. Some of their new Ring Fort designs that they're working on. All right, let me go ahead and pull out. I'm going to try and pull up Siege Engine maybe. I don't know if that looked like a Siege Engine. I'll pull it up one more time. I don't know if that looks like a Siege Engine. That looks more like a chariot or carrying supplies, in my opinion. Could be. Maybe it's a Trojan horse. I don't know. But now I'm going to bring up, we have 3 videos. I'm going to add a new source. Bear with me, some weird stuff may happen on screen here. I'm going to do media source. We're going to call it video. I'm going to browse for the file here. So we have 3. We have talking, sit tired, and lean back. Let's look at lean back first. Here it is. So he puts his feet up. Let me make this full screen. Oh, I forgot to put it on loop. Hold on. Loop. There we go. Now it's going to repeat over and over again. He puts his feet up. He's just chilling, hanging out there. Confirmation confirmed. We're going to be able to sit for longer than 30 seconds. Here it is looping again. Puts his feet up. Is that going to be a conscious choice or is that a passive thing? Hopefully it's a conscious choice because I don't want to be having a diplomatic meeting and you just put your feet up. These are presumably things that you'll be able to invoke on your own. Gonna be a lot of disrespecting tables. I also want to take a look at the background, guys. Check these things out. These are different size walls. These are different things that they're working on in the background. Let me make it a little bit bigger here. Walk plus jump plus something, man something, ascending jump. Minimum unclimbable height, max climb height. Don't use measurements between these. So they're working on something there, but that is one of the animations right there. You put your feet up on the table, you rub your face a little bit, you're just kicking back, relaxing in a tavern. Let's check out another one here. That was lean back. We're going to do sit tired. So this one is you're tired, you're sitting there falling asleep kind of. Let's make it full screen. Same stuff in the background looks like. You sit down, you put your head down on the table, and you just take a little nap. Like you used to do in school, you know? UTB says, yeah, it looks like they're getting more experience using the Unreal Engine, which I think is a great thing. Can't wait to see that during diplomacy, Ryan says. That would not be good. That would be really bad. We have one more to share with you. Let me pull it up really quick. This one is talking. So this is presumably what we'll be able to do whenever we're RPing that we're talking. Or maybe, you know what? Like, so there's a game called, what was the name of it? Path of Titans, dinosaur game. Anytime you would type something in game, in the global or whatever, your dinosaur would make a noise, like a chirp, as if they're talking. And I think that maybe when we type in game, your character will do an animation or gestures as if they're talking. I think that'd be really, really good for the game. Templar, great to see you. Thanks for stopping by the stream, buddy. He says, can't be worse than smelling someone's hair, LOL. Yeah, I agree. Pass out from a drunken. Let's see what this last one has for us. This is talking. This is how you're going to be able to emote when you're chatting with someone. Different little gestures. They seem like these might be sped up. I am playing it at normal speed, but they look very quick. Almost like their animation team did with the wood chopping, where some of them were a little off speed. So these may be dialed in, but they seem to be very quick gestures. I don't know if this is a 1-to-1 speed, like 100% speed, or if this is 125 or something. But hopefully we get a lot of these different ones so we can fully express ourselves in game. Also, did we notice any new armor on any of these guys? This all looks to be the same, I believe. That chest piece does look dark. What do you think? That chest piece looks dark and it has a Pax symbol in the middle of it. Yes, that may be a different chest piece. What do you guys think? And those shoulder pads, those look darker as well. In fact, all of that armor kind of looks like a darker color. Like that may be the next tier of what we're going to be getting. EOTB says a lot darker. Yeah, I don't know if it's an illusion or what, but that Pax symbol on the chest piece, that could be alluding to something. Maharlika, great to see you. Says, what's up, Void? Not much. We're just going over some of the stuff that we may possibly be getting here in the near future. You thinking Damascus steel is so anyone who knows more about this stuff than myself, who's into metallurgy and things, is Damascus steel correct for the era? I know it's a fantasy game and it's a fantasy era, but they're going for low fantasy. You can kind of tell everything else around us in the way that the tools that we have and stuff. Does Damascus steel make sense? I would think it probably would, right? It would probably make sense. Ryan says, 3 of these instant Spider-Man meme in game. Oh, yeah, yeah. He's like, him over there. He's a Fed. No, he's a Fed. Ryan Powell says 100%. Okay. So EOTB is agreeing with Ryan. He says it could be Damascus steel. I want to pull up the others one more time here to see if there's anything else that we missed. Here's Sit Tired. All of that looks the same. What are those boots on the ground? What are those boots he's wearing? I know that hood. I wear that hood. That looks like a normal tunic. What are those boots? Are those? Do we have those? And what is this table? We don't even have that table, or do we? That small table? That could just be a test table. But I don't think we have those boots. Looks like a loop of like 4 or 5 emotes. Yeah, all at once. He's gesturing a bunch. Do we have confirmation on what those boots are? I'm not too sure if I've seen those. Chair is different. A different chair and a like small table. I don't think I've seen this table, and potentially some different boots here as well. And then let's look at the last one, make sure there's nothing else. What are those boots? Red says those boots are not in the game yet. I don't think these boots are in the game yet either. These are like red. Those may be the next hide up, because remember the next tier of leather is like red. These could be the next tier of leather boots potentially. Pete says Damascus steel was before the modern world understood how to make steel. Oh, okay, so it would make sense then, but that would be weird then that it would be a higher tier, maybe? All the leather shoes, we have our ankle height, Red says. Okay, so these are definitely new then. These may be the new tier of leather boots that we're getting. I think that chest piece or that leather or that cloth chest piece there, I think we have that. Yeah, they're a reddish tint, EOTB says, 100%. Red says Damascus and high carbon steel. Ryan says, all right, have a good rest of the stream, Void and all. Time to go earn it's hidden behind I gotta scroll up in chat here. Time to go earn the shekels. Oh, gotcha. Ryan, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate you, buddy. Hope you had a great time here with us tonight. Look forward to seeing you in the future. But there you have it, guys. Those are some of the things that they showed us. We got those signs, the ring fort, those animations. It's looking really, really cool. I think the future of this game is very bright. I hope that people are paying attention to what is to come in the future here. EOTB says, hit that thumbs up, 18 people. Appreciate it, EOTB. Thanks, buddy. I do want to scroll up and talk one more time about the things that they talked about previously that, again, may or may not be coming. Combat system, PvP, social features, crafting, building, marketplaces, which we know are coming, soloable PvE content, Unreal Engine updates, plot permission updates, compass, and localization. That's what they talked about way back in 8/9/24 at 8:18 a.m. They posted that over on their Discord. So those are some of the other things that we talked about. If you want to know more about those, I'm more than happy to talk about them again here, but those are the things that we talked about on a previous episode of PaxCast. But that pretty much wraps up what we know so far. You guys are all caught up. And as soon as I know something more, as soon as you guys know something more, please send it to me on Discord. If you have rumors, if you have insight as to what may be coming, or they put out something on the launcher or on Steam that I maybe miss. I like when they put stuff on the website because then it makes it easier for me to bring visuals for you guys. But let me know as soon as you guys know, so that way I can bring everything to people as quickly as possible. There's a lot of things that they're working on. There honestly is. They have a lot of really good stuff that is in the process of becoming fully fleshed out. I really look forward to the day when we have all the systems we need to facilitate our future adventures for many, many years to come in PAX Day. I'm really excited for the future of PAX Day, and I'm excited to hang out with you guys on our Discord, in our community, and play whatever it may be, and not just PAX Day. But I'm super, super excited for the future of PAX Day. I think Mainframe is really onto something good here. If they can get this dialed in, they can get onto a good schedule and bring us the things that we need in order to better enjoy and play the game and have fun for many years to come. It's going to be really, really great. Do not forget to join our Discord. We have an event coming up on the 21st. It's at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time over in Bloodhaven, US East ANU-RP. If you guys would like to come out, please don't be a stranger. It's Saturday, September 21st, 2024, 5 p.m., US East ANU-RP in Bloodhaven, which is located in Caries in southern Tremen. Everybody is welcome to come to it. It's the Festival of Realms. We're going to have all kinds of fun events there. The Luminous Vigil. We're going to have a scavenger hunt. I'm trying to find someone to get that put together for us. That's the Fabled Forage. We'll have a maze. We have the Freedom Feast. We have our Moonlit Market making its debut, which is a RP market to trade and sell stuff. We've been doing a lot of trading and bartering with people, even though we don't actually need the things that we're trading for them. So we're being very generous and trading things for not a lot in return, just to have fun and trade. We set up some deliveries from people that bring stuff up to us just to facilitate some fun RP. If that sounds fun to you guys, make sure you join our Discord, get involved. We have a bounty board on there, all kinds of good stuff. If you guys are not yet subscribed, if you do not mind, please dropping a subscription for the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. We're trying to reach our 1,000 subscriber goal, and I'm doing my best to bring you guys the best info I can as soon as I possibly can, as well as bring you a lot of fun RP stuff. So please hit that subscribe button on the way out so you don't miss any future posts from the channel. We got a lot of really cool stuff coming out. There's going to be some curated RP stuff. One of them is actually uploaded. I just got to make a description for it and put timestamps and all that good stuff into it. But it is actually finished and ready to go. There are many, many more on their way, so stay tuned for those. If you'd like to join us in-game, make sure you go over to our website, type !website, ! Discord will take you over to our Discord, but go over to our website, submit your application to join the Order of the Blood Brothers. This autumn update is going to come sooner than we think. Time flies, right? Time is absolutely flying by. It does not stop for anybody. So get your applications in early. There's going to be a big resurgence coming back to PAX Day, I think, once we get this update. And I think it's just around the corner. Head over there, get your application in. One application gets you access to everything that we do, all of our games, all of our clans, all of our private servers, everything, our guilds, unfettered access to all of it. That sounds good to you guys. Make sure you go over there and get your application. And thank you to all of my channel members. You guys are the greatest. Thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel. It grows every day, and I'm just so thankful for all the subscribers, all of the channel members who are directly supporting the channel. Big shout out to all of you, all of my new channel members, all my old channel members who have been there from the beginning. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Everybody who interacts with Tangia. It's really fun during the streams to see those Tangias pop up. I really like when the AI talk to each other and stuff. It's really good fun. But that is going to do it for this episode of PaxCast. Stay tuned in the future for more. Once I know more, you'll know more. But that's going to do it for me. I'm going to go get some food and hang out on Discord. Hang out in Discord with everyone. And I hope to see you guys over there. But that's going to do it for me. Until we meet again, bye for now.